Got the moves like Jagger. Got the moves like Jagger. I got the moves like Jagger.
That sounds so good, man.
Oh, hey, Adam.
Wow.
How's it going?
I'm blown away by how good that sounds.
I'm just training. If you ever need anybody, I'm right there for you.
My friend, have got it.
We're going to go talk some golf?
Yes, we are. And anything to get away from what I was just listening to.
Live show? No script? What could possibly go wrong?
F-bombs all day.
I tell you, this is Callaway Live. Wait for it at the Forum. Thank you very much. We're backstage at the fabulous Forum. We're in one of the little hangout rooms. Last time I was on a couch with this many people close applauding was my high school prom. So thank you very much. I have no idea what that means. I just thought of that as I was coming in. Prom would have been cool had I gone. All right, this is Callaway Live. I'm Harry Arnett. We got a great show for you. You're probably wondering, why are we at the fabulous Forum? First answer, why not? Second answer, we had Irv Azoff on the show last year, and he said, no act can be big and has made it until they've played the Forum. And we said, can we play the Forum? And he said, no, you can't play the Forum. And we said, we got a special bag we'll make for you. And he said, yes, you can play at the Forum. So we have a great show. Also, the reason we're here, about the same time that Irv and his team renovated the Forum to make it one of the, if not greatest music venues on the planet, was the same time Callaway was getting back on its feet to be the #1 equipment company in the world. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So around 2012, and the similarities were glaring and shocking. 2012, to relaunch the Forum, Eagles concert, they turned the entire roof into a giant vinyl record. Remember that? Callaway, when we were getting set up, 2012, our relaunch day, chili day in the cafeteria. Pretty good, huh? Second thing, relaunch of the Forum, renovated the entire place. We're in one of the great renovated rooms. There's a game room across the street. The entire interior, new seats, the best acoustic sound in the world. No seat is a bad seat. They're all premium seats. Let me read my joke here. Callaway, we redid our conference rooms with life-size pictures of Rihanna and AJ. Yeah? Okay. So that one went over better than I thought it would when I read it. Okay. Third and final thing. Forum, getting started, world-class venue, VMA Awards featuring none other than Maroon 5. Huh? Pretty good, right? Yep. Yep. Our equivalent, #Chad, tweeted out #5-Year War from his personal account, retweeted it, and then favorited it from the Callaway. Absolutely. All right, we've got a great show for you guys tonight. Adam Levine is here. You guys know him from Maroon 5 and The Voice. And we also have Hank Haney here. So stick around. We'll be right back with Adam and Hank. All right.
Hi, I'm Henrik Stenson, out here on the course with Chad, and today I'm not really bringing my best game, so I'm going to have to rely on other things. Psychological warfare, whatever it is. You bring your mouth at least to the course, so let's try and make it a bit interesting.
All right, let's see what we can do here.
Yeah.
What am I, 2 up on you right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's only one hole to go.
I'm just going to put it down the middle here.
Yeah, just on that tiny little fairway.
Okay.
The one that comes across with that wind coming in off the left.
Gotcha.
That water is really deep, isn't it?
Yeah, I try not to even look at that.
Tiny fairway, why are you looking down the water? I don't know. You got to hit that ball, the one there. The one.
Which one?
This one, where I got my shadow. Yeah.
Isn't that cheating?
No, it's not. Are you breathing in or out when you're hitting?
I don't think about it like that.
No?
No.
Maybe you should.
I just let it rip down the middle, mostly.
Yeah, down the middle, in that thick stuff. Oh, gosh. I don't think we're ever going to find that one again. So, even if you're not having your best day, you can still win the whole.
You can still win the smash talk game, the trash talk game.
The smash talk game, I like that better. All right, that's it.
Ryan on the guitar. Welcome back. Callaway Live at the Forum. I'm Harry Arnett. Just grooving a little bit. Oh, that was a little abrupt stop. Also occurred on a couch at prom, the abrupt stop. Okay. That is based on a true story. Okay. Our guest tonight is the frontman of the world's most famous band, in my opinion. He's also one of the frontmen of the world's most famous TV show. How many other people can you think that satisfy those two things? And more importantly, for our purposes, he happens to be also the world's most obsessed golfer. Welcome to our show, Adam Levine. There he is. Normally, thank you very much. I'm just going to put that right there. If that's cool with you. Normally, you have your back to the audience a little bit, so this might be a little weird for you.
I mean, I don't always have my back to every audience.
It doesn't always work out that way.
Not always. Yeah.
I introduced you as one of the world's most obsessed golfers. How did this happen, this golf bug?
Well, it's actually funny because I spent a lot of my life, especially when I was younger, being foolish and not understanding how amazing golf was because I wanted to play basketball, and clearly that wasn't going to happen for me, so I got into music. But I never, I would tease people for playing golf. I was like, golf's stupid, and you're an idiot for loving it. And, my dad would take me to the driving range, and I'd get bored within 5 minutes. And it kind of just wasn't part of my life growing up, which I deeply regret. Trust me. That's my only major regret in life is that I didn't start when I was a kid. Yeah, and then a really good friend of mine was super into it. My friend started playing, and one friend in particular bet me. He said, "I'll never forget it. It was the moment." He's like, and this is why I'm here today. He said, "I will bet you $500 that," and this was I think 5 years ago, that you will. He's like, "You will never beat me at golf." And the dude sucked at golf. He was awful.
Were you like, you suck? I could totally beat you.
No, I wasn't even. It wasn't even that. It was more like, yeah. I was like, no matter what happens, I will be able to beat you at golf. And so I said, he's like, all right. He's like, you have 5 years to be able to beat me at golf. You have to beat me one time, $500. I was like, sure, game on. And I'm very competitive, so of course, that's kind of what spawned. And the initial, I'm going to go out there and see what I can do. And I was terrible, like most people when they started to try to golf. And then I met Hank through a friend, and he was doing the show. He was doing the Haney Project. And I was like, this is perfect. This is amazing. And then that's where I basically started. My first golf lesson was with Hank Haney, which is pretty ridiculous.
Good start.
Yeah. I had no habits to fix because I didn't have a swing. And that was it. And I fell madly in love with it. And then I would like to say, for the record, about a year and a half in, I went to my buddy's club, and I think I shot like a 90 or something like that, and I beat his ass. So. $500. I accepted a cash or check payment.
Right there on the green.
Yeah, he wrote me a check.
Well, I picture it because I know with your music, obviously, because you got started that obviously at a young age, and then with the show, you're not a guy that does anything sort of haphazard or anything but all in. So how has that been with your personality type in golf? Because golf's not really a game you can sort of force. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of people kind of would rather get good quickly, or not good, but get good enough quickly to where they can play the game and function within the game, and not be terrible, but that was just never a goal of mine. I want to be good. So I think that in order to be good, you have to kind of succumb to being bad for longer. that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, it makes sense.
You can't,
believe me, yeah.
but you can't. I get frustrated really quickly. I mean, Hank will sit here and I promise you, Hank is going to say plenty about how frustrated and patient I am, and that's all true. But I think that the ultimate goal is, I'll spend 10 years making sure that I do everything in a way that can kind of set me up to be successful in the long term with golf, because that's also the only sport we're going to be able to play when we're 90 years old. So I want to beat all my friends and the rest of the people in the world when I'm 90 years old. I think that when
you want to be the old guy going, $500.
Yes, yeah. Golf,
you're never going to beat me.
Golf is the only sport where you're not even eligible to play professionally on a certain level until you're 50 years old,
yeah.
You guys. Okay, that gives a guy like me hope. You know, most guys, you're 35 years old, you're not playing a professional sport ever again. I can get on the tour when I'm 50, and not a day before that age. Think about it.
I love that. That's a good goal too. You got a little bit of time ahead of you.
Hashtag senior tour.
So how do you fit your golf life in with all the other things that you're doing? Because golf's not a sport that you can take months off and then jump back in right where you left off.
Well, I mean, I don't really have time to do anything, but when I do have time to play or to grind, which is my favorite activity, I basically will hit more golf balls than any person on the planet Earth. I'll hit thousands of balls in a day, and I won't even think twice about it. Hank also loves that about me too. It's true. I work really, really hard at it, and I'm still kind of no good, but I'm getting better every day, and I will be great someday.
Yeah. Senior tour when you're 50.
Senior tour,
right
baby.
Here. Hashtag senior tour. Do you ever find yourself when you're on stage or during a concert and you're singing a song you've sung a million times thinking about golf?
Absolutely. we do.
You're looking out in the crowd. You're like, that's just like a 9-iron to that person right up there.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's a funny story, and I'm sure that the Mandalay Bay Event Center is not going to like this, but every year we play Vegas, and we love playing in Vegas. It's like a tradition. We've done it a few years in a row, and every New Year's Day we go on a golf vacation every day after New Year. So every show, of course, I'm thinking about golf. And so I've even done things like seen my buddy that I'm going on the trip with on the side of the stage. There's 20,000 people out there, and actually taking practice swings while I was on stage and been like, we're going golfing soon. And he's like,
I remember reading that in Us Magazine. Levine works on new dance move on stage.
Yeah, it's my favorite move.
Does anything about being a world-class musician and the mindset of that help you kind of improve on the golf course at all?
I mean, it's probably.
I hope the answer is no, because that would not help me at all.
I think that it's probably just something that's in my DNA. I've always been someone who is just dead focused on the things that they want to be good at, and it took me a long time to be a decent singer, and I still feel like I can be better, and that's just that's how I'm wired, I think. And it's definitely a bad thing at some time. It's not always a good thing, but I think that more or less it winds up being pretty.
How old were you when you realized that that's what you wanted to do for the rest of your life?
Well,
did it hit you the moment when you're on the golf course, or was it a slow build?
There were two moments that I realized I wanted to be a musician. When I was 10 or 11, I was obsessed with it, and I would just do everything I possibly could to get better singing and mostly playing guitar, actually. I wasn't much of a singer early on. I wanted to be a guitar player. But I'll never forget this. I loved basketball, and I played, when I was about 13 or 14, I played against Baron Davis. You guys know Baron Davis?
Yeah. He's pretty good.
And that was the moment.
You're not winning $500 off of him.
I ain't winning a damn thing from Darren Davis. Not on a basketball court. And I'll never forget it because I was a kid, and I was just starting to get into music, and we played him and his team. We really just played him because he scored about 60 points. And he was warming up to the game and dunking. I mean, he was like 5'10" at this point. He was just dunking and warming up, and he scored 60 points. And I had to guard him the whole time. And I was like, no, this was a moment for me. I'll never forget it. He would tell me what direction he was going and go there and score. And I'm not going to do this well, ever. Ever. So I was like, get better at that guitar.
Yeah. Baron, I'm going to whip your ass at guitar playing.
I like to thank Baron Davis, because without Baron, I wouldn't have had the reality check of I'll never be that good.
He should have front row seat for every concert just reserved for him, because without that.
Well, that's what's so screwed up about golf, though, is you can see someone hit a great golf shot and you'd be like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And maybe you can. once in a day. You know what I mean? But that's what's so crazy. You see someone like Barron when he's 12 years old dunking over you and posterizing a child that you're like, I can't ever do that. It's not happening.
So you see yourself all the time, obviously on videos for The Voice and on concert. Are you like us when you see a video of yourself on the golf swing? You're like, oh, I can't look at that. Please say yes.
Well, I've videoed like a lot.
I know you're obsessed with this. We're gonna think about this.
I have a lot of. I send Hank videos a few times a week sometimes. I actually built a driving range.
Hank's gonna take the over on that one, by the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll send it to him anytime. He'll wake up at 2 in the morning, get a text message, and he'll be like, "What is this kid doing?" I'll be like, "What do you think, man?"
Maroon 5's not allowed to tour overseas ever again.
Yeah.
According to Hank.
But yeah, I mean, I see my swing a lot, and I think that's one of the most important things, highly underrated thing is checking out what you're doing to make sure you're not doing it wrong, because sometimes it feels right and it looks wrong.
All right, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Stick around for a minute. We're gonna bring Hank out, and we're gonna find out just how obsessed Adam is about the game of golf. Be right back. We'll bring Hank out here to talk with me and Adam.
That's the worst shot I've ever seen.
All right, let's hit it.
I try to do this at least once a week when I'm home, hang out with the guys, and just enjoy casual golf, social golf.
Oh, no!
I'd love to be #1 in the world. Obviously, I got to start winning some majors, and it starts with Augusta.
Sitting on a big purple couch, why wouldn't we be? And you'll notice there's a giant space between me and Adam now. But it's a literal space. It's not a figurative space, because I feel like we're closer. I feel like we're closer than ever. This space is reserved for Adam's special coach and our good friend Hank Haney. Hank, come on out. All right. There he is. All right. Sit. Have a seat. Well, good to see you. Thank you. Adam doesn't know this because we wanted to keep this very quiet, but this is actually a golf intervention.
It probably could be.
Tell us about Adam's obsession and how you met him.
Oh, he's like the most obsessed. I mean, well, you know, I was living in Dallas, and my wife asked me, would you help Adam Levine? Because one of her friends was friends with Adam, and he called him up, hey, you know, Adam's playing in Dallas, would you help him? And I'm like, she said, you got to help him, you got to help him, you got to help him. It's Adam Levine. And I'm like, okay, I'll give him a lesson. So I gave him a lesson, and like the first day, I'm like, wow, you know.
He's into it.
This guy's got a long way to go.
Oh, man, I never in my life, never swung a golf club. And I was like this.
But a really athletic guy. I mean, you had to feel like you had something to work with. It wasn't like the first time you saw me swing.
Well, I mean,
I'm not so sure he felt that way at first.
I didn't feel that way at first, but then we went to his concert that night, and I saw him on stage, and I'm like, oh, my God. I mean, this guy's an athlete. I mean, because if you've seen him in concert, I mean, he just...
Yeah, you know Baron Davis scored 60 on him once, right?
You really had to bring that up again.
Sorry about that.
Well, that wasn't a good day for him. No. But, so anyway, you know, we helped him, and then, you know, he was on my show, The Haney Project, and he was the most improved player, which was good. We had 4 people on that year, Angie Everhart and Mario Batali and Sugar Ray Leonard, and Adam improved a lot. Of course, he had the farthest to go, but he's like the most passionate golfer I've ever seen, to be honest with you. I mean, and you know, he can get a little impatient with himself, but I feel like he kind of earns that opportunity because there's nobody that practices harder than he does.
What resonates with you talking to Hank? Is it technical stuff? Is it feel stuff? Because are you technical as a musician, or are you more a feel guy?
I'll tell you why why we get along so well is that there's a lot of people, I think, in my world, regardless of whether it's golf or in every aspect of just how I exist, there's a lot of people who may be inclined to, I guess, for lack of a better term, yes me.
Yes.
I see what you did. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
And I, you know, it's no good when you're trying to actually learn a craft. Like, you want someone to be real with you and be honest with you. You know, there's numerous reasons why one might kind of not follow their usual way of doing things to just kind of keep somebody engaged. But Hank has zero ability. Hank's exactly like me. He's not. We don't have the ability to bullshit each other.
Yeah.
Can I say that word on there?
Sure, you can say bullshit.
Like, he'll tell me immediately if I take a swing, he'll be like, and like, keep in mind, I like this, so this is why we get along. He'll be like, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
He was going to use another word there for a second.
Yeah, I'm
surprised.
I'm trying to hold it in.
Hank, I'm surprised your candor's never gotten you in trouble.
That's why we get along.
Yeah, I know.
That's why we get along, because he's not going to baby me. He's going to treat me. I from the very beginning, I knew that this guy was going to give me like a world-class, like professional level way of training that I wasn't really going to be able to get with another person, because that we had a rapport that was really special.
I saw Hank at the PGA show. We spent some time together. We're talking. Phone rings. This is absolutely a true story. And his phone chimes. He looks at it. He's like, "Ah, it's Adam again. Let's see what's going on here." And this is mid-conversation. He's looking at his phone. He's like, "I had his backswing so dialed in a week ago. A week ago.
That's a pretty good impression.
Look at this.
Yeah,
What is he doing?"
Yeah. That's because I get left alone with my own devices, and I'll be like, how about this? And he's like, no, how did you even get there? Like, but yeah,
He's getting better at that, but that's a true story, by the way.
So do you like to just grind it out and bang balls? I know you mentioned that, or do you like to play as much as you do practicing?
For a long time, my biggest problem, where he can attest to this, was like on the range, I would look probably like a scratch golfer. Like, people would be really impressed, and I get on the course and
Haywire.
Not even close. And it would go haywire.
Baby steps.
So have you guys worked on that? How do you take your range game to the golf course?
Well, I mean, we keep going back to the range.
Great, which
First
is great.
tee shot, back to the range.
Sometimes
If you do it enough, and those trips become shorter and less frequent, all of a sudden, you're a good
That's
golfer.
true, though. I mean, he's patient with the process. He's not necessarily patient with himself, but he's patient with the process, and he wants to get good. He wants to be really good. So he's not just like, let me see if I can learn how to play with my bad swing. I mean, he wants to do it right. So sometimes it is back and forth from the range to the course, from the range to the course, and it's just one step at a time. I mean, it's a hard game. If he gets in a groove and hits it, and we were down at El Dorado where we play in practice, and we both have houses there, and we were hitting, and we had 3 different scratch golfers come up to me and tell me, "Man, Adam's swing is really looking good." But then sometimes it doesn't translate on the course, but he's getting closer. It's just one step at a time.
We're narrowing the gap.
We can always relate to that, and I also think for a guy like him that's really excelled at everything he's done professionally, that notion of having to take a step back, is that easy for him or hard?
It's actually not hard for him. I mean, he wants to be good, and it's great for me because I always learn something from my students, especially the great achievers. And the process that Adam has taken for golf to me is kind of ideal for wanting to be great. So I love seeing it, to be honest with you.
And so when you're going back and forth with him, sort of digitally, let's say, how do you notice whether the improvement's happen? Is he sending you 10, 15 videos back and forth while he's sitting there on the range?
At 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm like, where is he? And they're like, oh, they're in Asia on a tour. And they're like, no wonder I'm getting these messages at 3 in the morning. But
does your wife let you swing the golf club in the house? Just asking.
I literally built my house so that I could do that. Like, we have high ceilings and glass everywhere around, so you can actually see at any point in the house. You're going to see it today.
Hashtag career goals.
Yeah. I'm like, so no, the living room is a safe place for a golf swing, but every other room is not good.
They've got this amazing game room back here. We got to build one of those in your house.
It shocks me that we're not in that game room right now.
I know. We're gonna get you back on there. And so, just real quick before we wrap up here, goal-oriented, Adam, in terms of your game, or I know Hank says you're trying to get better. Do you have strict goals, whether they're handicap
100% goal-oriented.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think you can be anything other than goal-oriented with golf, because day to day it's going to break down and it's going to be strong and you're going to have to adjust. And I still haven't calculated a handicap. And the reason why is because, and Hank kind of explained a little bit of this in the beginning, I probably misinterpreted it and changed it grotesquely, and he's going to be mad at me. But when everyone's a 36 handicap, like when you first swing a golf club and you know what you're doing, like you're a max handicap golfer. And as you get better, you chip away at that, and that becomes, better and better. However, when someone, and my friends hate me because I say, oh, I'm probably like an 18 right now, but I'm not, because that's not
swing's
true.
not an 18.
Yeah,
Come on, Hank.
it's not, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like I want to shoot a 72, or I want, or
Yeah,
whatever.
you want to shoot
I want to be a scratch. I want to be shooting par, or better. So that's my goal, and I think that probably should be your goal if you want to be good at golf.
He can get there. I saw him. He showed me his golf swing.
He'll get there. His swing is good. He's getting a lot better, and he'll get there.
Short game?
His short game's actually very good.
That's the only thing that was good from the beginning.
Yeah, he's got great touch. He's got great touch, but he practices nonstop. My wife calls him the hamster. He's like on the wheel, and he won't stop going.
Hey, let me do a public service here. That nickname is not supposed to stick. Okay, it's not.
Please, God,
do
please.
not let that nickname stick.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things too, I think, about this game, and you've probably noticed that too, Adam, as you've gotten obsessed like we have. No other game opens up the doors to meet incredible people like this game does.
That is very true.
It brought you guys together. It's how I got to meet Hank. Obviously, I never would have met you if it weren't through the game. And being here at the Fabulous Forum, I can say one of the most generous people I've ever met in my entire life through the game of golf is Irving Azoff. And so we're here because of him. I know he's friends with you guys as well. And we wanted to bring Irving up, who's right here. There, guy. How are you? Good to see you. Over here. Let's over right here. That's the man. Just step out of frame here. Well, Irving, you said that the Fabulous Forum is among, if not the very best music venue on the planet. And we at Callaway were thinking, there's not a whole lot we can do to help you achieve that endeavor. We can help you with your game room a little bit. One thing we know, no other music venue on the planet has its own staff bag. So today, we are introducing the Fabulous Forum staff bag.
I love that. I love it.
Put it on the back. Got little records on there.
I want to officially welcome Callaway to the Forum as our official golf sponsor. We run a really private game room where we only have Callaway, and we really appreciate Harry and them coming up and taking care of it. I will say that after I did this show with Harry, it's only taken my reputation about 12, 14 weeks to return to any sort of stable issue. But yeah, these are my golf buds. Hank's been family to kind of all of us. Adam and I belong at a club down in Cabo called El Dorado. It's a discovery club, and Hank is the resident psychologist, doctor, golf instructor, friend. He's now learning how to cause people to rupture their Achilles tendons on the pickleball courts. And I hang around The Voice from time to time and watch this guy. It's the only thing that keeps him sane. He's walking around swinging everything. But love this program. Love Callaway. Welcome to Callaway, Hank.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Irv. Appreciate it.
Come to the Forum.
We'll be back. We'll be back. Adam, thanks a lot for being on the show. Hank, appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Our guys, thanks to Irv. We'll see you next time on Callaway Live at the Forum.